guys, Marmalade here for Q&A number 9 already. Felipe Ricketts had asked me what local overnight PCT hikes would you recommend in the San Diego area. I want to start training for future multi-day hikes. Now that's super hard because I need more specifics. I'll give you some ideas, but if you could write me again, Felipe, because I know you're really good about commenting in every video. Depends how hard you want it, how many days, elevation, blah blah blah. So I can give you some ideas. I don't know if you have Gut Hooks, the app. It is a paid app, but that's what we use on trail. And you can find these places I'm going to suggest. But for an overnight, like you could leave Warner Springs at mile 109.5, so mile marker 109.5. And I've done videos on it. You can go back and look at my videos. You can go north, south, either way. If you go south from Warner Springs, you get to Eagle Rock 3 miles away. If you go a couple more miles, maybe 5 miles in, there's beautiful oak trees and a camping spot. You can camp and then hike back. North, I just did a hike, just like a month ago. You probably saw it. I went 3 miles north of Warner Springs and camped in that camp spot. So check out some of my older videos. I think they're under PCT training hikes. What else? You could camp at mile 101 at Barrel Springs and go north or south. I'm getting ready to do one this weekend. It's going to be Scissors Crossing, mile marker 77. It's going to be 14 miles northbound to Third Gate Water Cache where there's water, so 14 miles. And then the next morning our group is going to go 10 more miles to Barrel Springs at 101. You can get on at Mount Laguna at mile marker 43. There's multiple places to get on there. Lake Morena is a great place at mile marker 20. There's that deli and malt shop if you want to get supplies or afterwards get a burger. I can go north or south there. So lots of places like that. I can get very specific if you want to know the desert by heart. So let me know if you have the difficulty and the amount of miles you want to do out and back each day, that kind of things that I can be more specific. So Eric Klein asked me what would I change in my kit, what worked and what didn't. So I kept a little bit in the notes section of my phone. I kept a quick list of things that were failing, and if it's not on my list, then the things worked out. So I'll give you this list real quickly. I lost many steaks, and the very first night, at Hauser Creek, it's 15 miles in, I just left some of the steaks. They were silver, but they kind of blended in with the soil, and I would just leave them in. I'd take my tent down, and I left 2 steaks behind right off the bat. I probably lost 8 or 10. I found a few. I had somebody actually find my steaks, Grant, that was in my group, and he brought them back to me because he knew what they looked like. So I lost a lot of steaks. The air pillow I had for the last 3 or 4 years since I've been backpacking also leaked on the first night. So I had it forever. The last time I used it, it worked fine. And the first night on the trail, it leaked. So I was lucky. My buddy Robert loaned me one of his, and so I used that. On the trail, I had 2 air mattresses go bad. My first one was the Big Agnes Axle. It leaked within about 3 or 4 weeks, and I was filling it up every hour for like 8 or 9 hours at a time, and hardly getting any sleep, as you can imagine. It turned out that it was a defective pad, that the holes were on top where I actually lay on it, but I don't wear anything sharp. I have some sleep long johns in top and some socks, so everything I have is soft, but I had 2 holes and they were in the exact same places in kind of the inny part of the cushion of the air mattress. So eventually when I got to mile, I don't know, it was like 400 and something, when I was hiking with Bart, he took me to REI, and I got the Big Agnes Q-Core SLX. So I went a smaller size, but it's a heavier duty one, so I thought it will be tougher, especially with the wear and tear you get on a through hike. And that one lasted me actually literally to the very end. So the last couple of days on the trail, it started leaking also. So through hikes are just hard on air mattresses. So when I got home, I took that back, and now I have the Thermarest Neo Air X Lite. And I haven't had it long enough. I've used it like 3 or 4 nights, but I haven't long enough to know if it's going to last. But those 2 air mattresses failed. What else failed? I'd always used the Sawyer Squeeze, and right before the trip, I got their brand new Sawyer Micro water filter, and it clogged on the 7th or 8th day on trail. It rained, and so the water that I was filtering from was kind of silty, and I didn't think I had much sand in my bag, but when I filtered from my knock bag into my water bottles, it clogged up my water filter and it ruined the flow. I could barely get the water to trickle through there. I back flushed that thing 50 times as hard as I could, every way I could not get that filter to unclog, so it was basically useless. I eventually went to the Be Free filter. It has 10 times faster flow rate, and it's kind of what Bart used, so I copied him. And the Hydro Pack 3-liter bag, which is kind of a gray bag. I'll be showing a lot of this later in some of my videos, some of my gear, and that worked, and I never had a problem. I had a tent stake on my big Agnes tent break when I was setting my tent up. Through a lot of trouble when you're on the trail. I emailed them back and forth, and they kind of hassled me, but they eventually sent me a replacement piece and a video on how to fix the pole setup on my tent. And I think that's it that I can remember right now. But yeah, that was it. I had a lot of failure. It seemed to like come in clumps. But you know, when you're doing this and you're, you know, I'm not hard on myself. I'm very careful. Oh, the last thing was I had a mouse chew a hole through my tent on the very last day, if you remember, if you watched my series. So that's not gear failure, but I did have that happen. So I have some tenacious tape patching the hole. All right, so my next question is from Terry Savini, and she asked me, were you ever sick on trail? If so, how did you care for yourself? So I did not get sick on trail. I was pretty lucky. I filtered everything all the time water-wise. That doesn't mean you can't get sick still, but sometimes you can get cross-contamination. But yeah, I carried some Imodium, and I carried Imodium, some ibuprofen, and really just I had a few sleeping pills in there in case I struggled sleeping, and that was it. It's one of those things where, generally speaking, you're 3 to 5 days from town every time. So if you got sick, you know, and you needed stuff for the flu or a cold, if you didn't have it, you'd have it in a few days. Hopefully you weren't just starting a new stretch. So I felt like Imodium is to help counter diarrhea when you have giardia from, you know, bad water. So I never had to use that, and I did use vitamin I a lot, ibuprofen, because I'm old, I'm 50 something. And yeah, so that was about it. I never used my sleeping pills, and I would sometimes get Aleve and sometimes ibuprofen, but they both work great for me. My next question is from Christopher Langan. He asked me, have you done anything on your ULA pack and any customizations? So yeah, let me just show you. I'll do a little video here, a little side video to show you what I did. Okay guys, I'm going to show you the best I can. I only did 2 mods to my pack. I had already owned my pack and decided to send it back when I had my idea of how to attach my bear canister and save more space. And when I just did my recent 3-day trip up there where I did Agnew Meadows to Thousand Island Lake and then Garnet and then Ediza, Shadow Lake and back, I tested it out. It worked great. So here it is. So I hope you can see this okay. You can't see me, but that's okay. It's probably better off. But I had my PCT patch sewn on. They did a good job. They only charged $5, and I don't trust myself to sew, so they did a good job. And they also, I think it's iron on. So my theory was I wanted to attach it to the top, my bear canister. I had them connect 2, I hope you can see this, 2 male switches. These are on there all the time. There's no way to take these off. The female are on this side, like this. So these are on there all the time. It only weighed out at like an ounce to my pack. But when I'm in the Sierras now, I can clip this on, put this one on. I also have, this comes with the middle one, so now I effectively have 3. I didn't trust having one with my canister on there like this and having with stuff weight in it, having it come off. So now I have 3 points of contact. So what you can do is, hope you can see this, put this on top, stretch this out. Middle one, stretch it out. And a third one. So this is, I just have the pack stuffed with random stuff just to fill out the pack. So probably should have figured this out a little ahead of time. But basically, you just cinch these down. I'm cinching down on the back side here. And voila, you have 3 points of contact. It's on there, very sturdy. It's also kind of sunk into the pack. I normally make sure it's centered and all that. I'm just doing this fast for interest, but there you go. It's like that. There's the 3 points of contact. There goes the water bottle. Anyway, I hope that helps. That's what I did to my pack. They really liked the idea where they attached them on all 4 sides is in a solid part of the pack they felt could handle the weight and not tear. So that's what I did. And I'm kind of proud because I thought of that idea and I called them, and they were reluctant at first because they tell you to put your bear canister vertically in my ULA circuit. But when I did that once, when I did a little weekend trip in the Sierras, it took up 3/4 of my pack. So I wanted it on the outside. They also told me it would counterbalance my pack. I didn't care, it's my pack and I want to carry it. So I talked to the guy that does service and repairs, and he said, yeah, there's a a few seams in there that it was solid, that could hold the weight of it. So that's how we did it. I'm the first one ever for them to do these straps for, and it worked great. I just did it about a month ago in the Sierras and used my canister, and it worked great. So I'm assuming you could actually, if you order a ULA pack, you can have those straps put on. But I like that they're removable, adjustable. They're long enough to go around a bear canister, but 99% of the time when I'm hiking the desert, of course, I don't have a bear canister, so I don't have those straps, but they're removable. And then when I plan on going through the Sierras, I would plan on just putting the straps in my bear can, so they're there. So when I get my Sierra stuff, the straps are in there and ready to go. So the next question is from Todd Alexander. He said, as I'm getting back into backpacking, I have started weighing all my gear. And to my surprise, my biggest area to save weight would be my clothing. My question is, what did you use for your layering system? Were there items that you thought you needed but you didn't? For example, I have a puffy that I used to bring but never used. I've always been able to keep warm with a fleece and a rain jacket. So I'm going to insert my whole layering system that I used on the trail. It is going to completely change, except for I think one thing. I've already got most of it, so I'm going to do a video on my new layering system and how much materials, but how much I saved in weight. But I'm going to show you in stages my layering system, and it's basically my shirt, my long sleeve light hoodie I used in the mornings, my puffy, my rain jacket. I also had rain pants. So here they are in sequential order. And to answer your question, yes, I did have, I got a balaclava, which is like a warm face kind of mask for the desert section. It was cold. I used it a couple nights, but it was so tight and so uncomfortable, I sent that home right away. I also had a buff, which was be for the sun on your head, on your neck. I also wanted to use it to cover my head with a hat if it got really cold, but I never used it. I didn't use it once. I ended up cutting it up in Washington when I broke my ankle, when I was still on trail, and I used it as like an ace bandage, but that didn't really work, so I kind of wasted a $30 buff, but I wasn't using it. So there wasn't, I purposely had my clothing down pretty well, but I've made some changes, and I'll show you in a gear video that I'm gonna do in the future. And remember, my videos coming up are, so I'll be going lighter and more compact. That's my goal when I get back on trail, and so I will show you that video of what I've changed to. Thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate it. I hope this was enjoyable and educational for you. I thought it was fun. A lot of pictures and a lot of different kinds of questions. As usual, please subscribe if you haven't. Also, as I've been saying, I started a Patreon page. Just go to patreon.com and look for me. You can search for me in the search bar under Mike Marmalade Lawrence, and you should find me. You can donate up to just even a minimum of $1 a month, and you'll get different things from me. I just posted some pictures from my PCT through hike in the Washington area that I haven't posted anywhere yet, so you'll get information and things first, and also other things. The more you donate, the more things I'll do for you. And so please support that if you can, but if not, no worries. And again, thank you for watching, and we'll see you down the trail.